was watching. Conflict of interest.
Welcome to KG5 here in Glenorchy, Tasmania for Round 8 Tasmanian State League action between Glenorchy and Clarence. Brent Costello with you this afternoon alongside the former Southern Cats South Launceston superstar turned media megastar Cameron Brown. How are you, Brownie?
I'm pretty well this afternoon, Brent. Earlier time slot of 1 o'clock and looking forward to a big clash. Traditional rivals Glenorchy and Clarence. Last 2 weeks, Brent, contrasting form lines really. I saw Clarence were terrific last week in a win over North Hobart, where they probably didn't start favourites, and we know the week before that, probably the ball over of the season against Launceston on the road. And Glenorchy last week came up against a pretty good opponent in North Launceston, but the week before they defeated North Hobart and were really impressive when we saw them on the stream.
Absolutely, yeah. Clarence are probably the story of the year just about, aren't they? Obviously a lot of people thought they'd bottom out and try a rebuild, but at the moment third on the ladder and looking really good.
Yeah, they were really good last week, and in the end I just thought they hurt North Hobart with their run on the outside in particular. Really liked some of their defensive marking in the latter part of the second quarter, which held them up when North Hobart were coming. And there's a lot to like about them. There's certainly, and we'll see a number of their younger players today running around, which is really exciting. So they're on the way up, but they get a pretty good test against Glenorchy today, who, just reading some of the media from PK during the week, the Glenorchy coach, he was really disappointed the way they played against Clarence last time. They were thumped back here on the home deck, so you'd think they would be looking for a really strong response today.
Absolutely. Clarence go in unchanged to this game, but we've got a couple of changes for Glenorchy. Tom Cleary and Matty Dilger, both late outs. In come Daniel Joseph, which isn't a bad late call-up, and Isaac Manson as well, Cam. So a couple of big changes there.
Yeah, I mean, Cleary's obviously been a really handy addition coming back in to the club this year. We know Dilger can play that half-forward utility role, can even play back, but predominantly as a forward, so a couple of players get their chance. Daniel Joseph, we know, as you mentioned, Brent, when in form, probably the best half-backer in the competition, so damaging by foot. And Isaac Manson gets a chance too. He's been in really good form in the development league, so we wish him all the best, but I think Clarence are going in unchanged, Brent.
They are indeed. If you look at the ground here too at KG5, we're out here during the week for a press conference, and you might notice, Brandon, the centre square has shifted a lot to the far side of the ground, so a massively large wing on this side of the ground. PK didn't think that would change preparations too much. What about you as a coach? Is that to come into play at all?
Oh, look, I don't think so. You know, it's a fairly boggy as we're looking out from our vantage point here, Brent, but no, I don't think it's a massive shift in terms it might be, 5 metres further out to out wide, but I think the players will be well accustomed and drilled to cope with that. How do you see it being played out, Brent? Like your tip early today, please.
Yeah,
not late in the game when it's all been decided.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Toss of the coin for me, really. Obviously, Glenorchy's still missing a host of stars, aren't they, at the moment? It might just give Clarence the edge, I think. I reckon it'll be a tight game, this one, but I'm going to go Clarence despite it being at Glenorchy's home ground here at KG5. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'll go the Roos in this one too, but really looking forward to it, particularly some of the matchups. Glenorchy in particular, Josh Arnold's been in really good form, hasn't he, as that gatekeeper defender. So Clarence might need put a bit of work into him today.
Another nice crowd in here, 500 capacity again. It'd be interesting to see how many people would be here for opening it up, Brownie, because a lot of people want to get out and look at the footy at the moment. And I know a few people were looking to be turned away, which is great for local footy that everyone wants to come along, but unfortunately everyone can't get in at the moment. So if you're enjoying the stream this afternoon, hope you are enjoying it, wherever you're going to watch it from. Should be a cracking game. Conditions pretty much ideal. Don't think there's any rain forecast at this stage.
No, it looks a pretty good day for footy when it's all said and done, Brett. And, both teams will be looking for a strong start today in this one. Clarence with a couple of injuries during the week, didn't they? Both
Yeah.
Pre-Shaw's out of the team with a couple of injuries.
Yeah, the cousins. unfortunately injured in the same game last week, so they're out for the year, which is disappointing.
I mentioned Josh Arnold, 29 possessions last week. Mitch Rainbird, who's been out of the team with injury, but he was really strong last week, up around the 20 possession mark. You know, Camerick around that on-ball brigade. Daly, who often starts half forward, and then they'll push him up into the midfield a little bit later. So they do have some class in there. Last week we saw Brady Jones in a run-with role on Jack Sandrick, and he was terrific. Sandrick was really good the week before in a losing team against Glenorchy, ironically. We're about ready for a start, Brent.
Yes, you can see why they've shifted that centre circle. Very boggy out there, isn't it? So it's groundsman's decision to do that. Looking ahead to the cricket season, of course, which isn't too far away, really. Early start here this afternoon as well. It was originally scheduled for a 2:30 first bounce, but here we are at 1 o'clock. A couple of other big games in round 8 as well. North Hobart travelling down to take on Lauderdale at the tip, and then tomorrow up at Windsor Park, the Tigers and Launceston going head-to-head as well. So the umpire raises the footy aloft. Just about ready for a start here at KG5, round 8. Glenorchy and Clarence on a Saturday afternoon. Beautiful bounce to get us underway. Big tap down, and Glenorchy advance it forward. Here's Webberley, been in really good form for Clarence. Just ask him, he'll tell you. As Clarence bring it up the line here for Potney. And now Camerick, good to see him back playing footy. Ball held up. There's Camerick with the footy again. And umpire's blowing the whistle here. And free kick going to the Roos.
Yeah, really good Jackson last week.
Josh Green, Brownie, what have you made of his start to the season?
Yeah, I thought he was down a little bit last week, but you'd think he'd be running into a bit of fitness, as that one's out on the full. Disappointing result there for Clarence. So, yeah, just needs some continuity in his footy, some miles in the legs. I thought he did some really good inside 50s throughout the game last week, but was probably still well down on his standards. We mark him hard, don't we? But a lot of upside for him. Zach Bushner with the job on Jay Bowden today, Brent.
He's the man that kicked the footy then, Zach Bushner, been in the best players for Clarence a lot of weeks this season so far. Ball struggling to get out here. Here's Webberley, the flowing mullet off to Green. Mark not taken. He's up in the hands of the Pies. Big tackle from behind. Here's Camerick again. Handball's forward, but again the ball to the boundary.
A couple of early touches for the new inclusion. Isaac Manson also plays a bit of cricket with North Hobart, Brent.
Yes, he's one of two changes, late changes today. Daniel Joseph also coming into the side. If you're just joining us, Tom Cleary's the big out. Matty Dilger as well. Camerick again held up. Gets the handball away though in the end. Webberley again had a lot of touches early in this one. Harris pick it up through Ethan Jackson. Handball from Wade Wall. Another whistle.
Yeah, Ollie Davis just taking the ball over the boundary. I thought he was really good early on in the third quarter last week. Brent, with some of his clearance work, we know he's very clean, strong over the footy, particularly good by hand.
Ball back into Ruckman, go at it. Wall gets it all on his own though. Tries to pummel it forward, doesn't go very far though. Gets it back. And now the first inside 50 for Clarence. Just. But it's tapped out for a boundary throw-in again. As we said, perfect conditions for footy here at KG5 this afternoon. Not too much. It's very windy out here normally, Brownie. How do you have a kick during the week? And very hard to kick a goal in the breeze out here usually. Camerick just misread that one. And now Green throws a high ball into the air. Pack forms underneath it. Brady Jones, captain, throws himself on the footy. And there's a real opportunity for Clarence to get the first score of the afternoon. Players dive all over the footy. Brought down, big tackle from Arnold.
Yeah, it was a fraction high, I think. It's going to go to Kieran Haller, who was really good last week. One of the better games I've seen him play. Used the ball well. Push forward was the scoring option, and he'll get an opportunity today from Oh, what, 20 metres out, Brent?
Yeah, by the time he kicks it, Karen Hallett wanders in directly in front. The kick's a real flat one, and it goes to the left for a minor score. Never really got on that at all. So missed opportunity there for the Roos. A little let off for Glenorchy as they rush it back into play. Mark taken by Geard. Now here's the veteran Josh Arnold. Gets it up the line to Ryan Banks-Smith, of course, in the helmet this afternoon. Here's the superstar Jay Bowden, just takes it beautifully. He plays on, wastes no time. Goes to the goal square, no one home. Bouncing footy, and it misses a lot in the end and goes out of bounds.
Yeah, instinctively played on, didn't he? He saw that there was no one running back to the goal and was hoping to probably bounce it through. But in the end, probably not a bad result for the Pies. They get a stoppage here. This is where people like Daly do their best work.
So ball back in. Wall punches it out. Straight to Daly though for Glenorchy. Jackson's in there. Ball eventually out. Here's Daly again, the little superstar. Handball's over the top. Clarence get out of danger though. Here's the coach, or just out of danger. Across the face of goal. Players dive onto the footy. Still alive though. You notice the umpires have been putting the whistle away a bit this year, Brownie, in the games you've seen?
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. Particularly that holding the ball. It was a while there before the umpire eventually paid it.
So one behind for Clarence. Glenorchy yet to score. Just almost 5.5 minutes gone the opening term. KG 5. There'll be a free kick there. Umpire let it go. Ball up. You see Rich Rainbow back playing some footy, Brownie, this year. Ball not going too far.
He's developing ruckman, James Deegan, isn't he? Hasn't played a lot of footy, but I thought he was pretty good a couple of weeks ago against North Hobart.
Jackson throws it onto the boot. Glenorchy, though, end up with the footy. Banks-Smith. He goes inside 50. Kick wasn't his best. Mark not taken. And now Daly snaps around the body and gets the first goal of the afternoon for Glenorchy. Perfect start for the Pies.
He's always had really good forward craft, hasn't he? And knows his way around the goals. But he just reacted quickly to a loose ball. And a smart finish around the corner we mentioned. He's very dangerous, isn't he? In those stoppage situations in particular. But he's on the board early. I think it might be Paprotny that's got the job on him. And a good start for the Pies. Been a bit of a scrappy opening where players haven't had a lot of time and space with the footy. But that's an encouraging start for the home team.
Well, it is, particularly after the last result, as you mentioned in the pre-show, Brownie, down at Richmond earlier in the season. Blown out of the water, the Magpies. So they'll be really happy with that confidence-boosting start as we restart in the middle. Deegan just whacks it forward. And now Jackson off to the coach, Webley, and that was not his best kick, and the mark's been taken by Callum Thompson. And he'll go back now and kick from about 40 metres out, slight angle.
Yeah, he's only a young man, Callum Thompson. New to senior footy, but one of the better under 16, under 17 players in the state. Coming across from Claremont, his junior club. And he gets an opportunity. It was just a loose kick there from the coach.
Callum Thompson comes in. The orange and yellow boots. He's just put that one to the right.
He just didn't seem to have enough momentum, did he, in his run-up? It's a bit stop-start.
Interesting kick from Jeremy Webley, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, he's one of those guys who will be quite attacking by foot and switch of play. High risk, high reward. And on the occasion now, they've got Holmes here if they elects to play on Wiley, but he doesn't. Goes out to the outer side.
So it comes back into play, and the kick is not great out in the full. So 6 points the buffer here. Home team has the advantage, and that kick's a nice one. Lands on the chest of Matty Joseph.
I think it was Daniel Joseph that kicked it to him. It was just a low, lovely, piercing ball. You'd like to be on the end of that.
This will be a dream start for the Pies if they can be successful here. Matty Joseph, been around this team for a long time now. In he wanders. Kick is very, very nice indeed. And the Pies have the first couple here at KG5.
Yeah, it just came from a kick out. Keegan Wiley played on. I thought he might have gone out on our vantage point side of the ground, Brent, but because Holmes was free, but he elected to go out to the scoreboard side, and unfortunately it wasn't his best kick. And then Joseph, you don't want it in his hands, Daniel, and it was a lovely short pass and a good finish, wasn't it? So the Pies, a perfect start for them. Clarence need a response here now.
They certainly do. Almost gone 10 minutes in the opening term. 2 straight kicks is the lead for the home team. Up we go again. Both ruckmen miss it on that occasion. Jones got the handball out. Gets the footy back in the end too, Brady Jones. Didn't they go inside 50? It's all the Magpies though. And Arnold racked up.
A good tackle from young Sam Banks. Another one of young Clarence players who I thought was really good last week. Beautiful mover.
So right in Clarence's attacking zone here. Joshy Green tried to get it up to himself, couldn't in the end. Free kick being played here.
Yeah, it paid for a throw against Sam Green, who's been playing as a taller option for Clarence this season, sometimes as a chop out in the ruck, but Josh Arnold, I think, close to 30 touches last week.
Great to have the stats this year in the TSL as well. Keep a real close eye on how everyone's going as Camrick puts it right up to the wing. Quick handball off. Misjudged it though. And now Clarence turned it over to nice tackle and held up. Small not going too far here. So
it's the right idea, the handball, but unfortunately it was just behind Manson, who had to stop and wait, and that's what's created this stoppage.
Stegan misread that one, and he'll get the free kick though. Hence the quick handball off to Camrick. And now the Magpies run it through the middle here at KG5. Rainbird, turns his opponent inside out beautifully. Puts it on the boot, inside 50. Mark not taken by Daly on this occasion and out of bounds.
Yeah, Mitch Rainbird, I actually thought he stopped and waited there, but he actually read it pretty well in the end and worked his way through the situation. So Glenorchy, another opportunity, as we mentioned earlier. Camrick and these sort of players, Daly, can be dangerous.
Dangerous spot here for Clarence. They do well though to get it out of danger. Intercepted by Rainbird, but the Roos do well enough to get it back. They're right in front of us here in the commentary box. They pump it up the line. Arnold so strong, so reliable.
Be pretty pleased though from a Clarence perspective. Gardner, Banks and Davis, 3 young players all involved for Clarence. Oh, turnover.
Here's Neal, tries to get rid of his opponent, and now the Roos are on here. Plenty of time and space. Not quite quick enough though. Howlett had it, and now a look at goal here for Clarence, and the mark taken right on the goal line.
Big Noah Holmes, and look, he worked his way through it pretty well, Howlett, didn't he? He looked like he was going to have a shot, and then maybe he's a bit worried about the distance, so he squared it up, and then Riley and Noah Holmes just playing in the right spot where good forwards need to be.
Pops it through. Noah Holmes been in good form for Clarence this year, and that's their first of the afternoon.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? And looked dangerous last week on occasions, particularly when he can jump up, because he's a tall boy, and when he's got his hands up he can often take a power of beating. But just an opportunistic goal on that occasion for Noah Holmes. We know he's a bottom age player this year if the Devils were in operation, so next year would be his draft year, Brent. But a good start for him, and probably a much needed goal for the Roos. Glenorchy pretty much had it on their terms for the first 10 or 12 minutes of this quarter.
Well, they did. Little toe poke there from Rainbow, went to Josh Green. Now Webberley hits his captain Brady Jones, and now Green bursting through the middle of KG5. Mark not taken by Holmes this time around. Ball goes to ground. Players dive all over it and we'll have a ball up.
A dangerous centre, and it started with the coach who just lowered his eyes. I thought he was going to blaze long, but then went short to Jones. They were pretty dangerous when they went through the corridor, then the Roos.
So Glenorchy win it out. Here's Camrick. A bit of the footy early in this one. He goes along and misread the mark there, Clarence player, and now Glenorchy a chance at goal here, and little toe poke off the ground, and they get their third of the afternoon through Adam Roberts.
Yeah, he can kick goals, Adam Roberts. He was just in the right spot at the right time, and probably Bailey a decision he'd like to have over again, and Glenorchy made him pay, which is the perfect response for them after the Holmes goal. You mentioned Camrick. He's got a bit of the footy already for the Pies. We know he can really accumulate some possessions. I reckon he's probably up to 5 or 6 already. So Clarence look like they're playing Josh Green
in the middle,
in a rotation at times from the wing, then also in a half forward. A lot of their players are rolling through there. Ethan Jackson's another one that's been pushed forward.
So 15 minutes gone, opening term. It's a 2-goal lead to the home team, Glenorchy. Have a restart here. Entertaining game so far. Round 8 TSL footy. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Second game of round 8, of course. We saw North Lonnie topple Launceston a couple of nights ago at Utah Stadium. Kick off the round. North Lonnie, of course, back into first on the ladder, where we know them so well to beat. So Clarence now trying to win it out of the middle here. Umpire says pushing the back.
He's got a free kick, Ollie Davis. He was right under that ruck contest. Good feed off to his coach.
He does. Weberly goes right to the far side of KG5. Howlett. He delivers it, or tried to Tyson Hanslow. He gets a footy back in the end. Here's Chris Neal. Back to Howlett, who goes right to the goal line and rush through.
Yes, good defensive spoil from Koppelman. He's got the job on Noah Holmes.
Shorter quarters this year, of course.
Yeah, it does. It sneaks up a little bit on you. What are we into the 16-minute mark of the first quarter? Arnold goes short to that man again, Camrick.
Really liking the shortened quarters, Brownie. I think it's great. Interesting to see Taylor Whitford talk about it too, the premiership coach at North Lonnie. He's pretty happy with them as well, particularly when they've got these midweek games as well. Here's Jay Bowden. Goes forward. Mark does well. There's Matty Joseph. Has a look at goal and offline.
I reckon it would have crossed his mind to have a bounce, but it was a good chase in the end from Bailey, just to almost commit him to the kick and tried a banana on the outside of his body. Again, fast ball movement from Jay Bowden, who just instinctively knew there was some space for Joseph to run into. Wiley again with a kick out.
Full players fly for it. Big tackle. The ball not going too far anytime soon. Another ball up. It wouldn't be much longer left in this opening term. Home side lead it still by 2 straight kicks. Camrick does well to get it out. Rainbird's in there. Some of the stars are going to combining. Here's Josh Green. Weberly. Wade Wall. Handballs over the top. It's straight to a black and white jumper in Rainbird, but the ball spills out of bounds. So we wait the ball in. Ethan Conway into the ruck for Glenorchy. Wade Wall wins it down. Geared's in there.
Free kick.
Blowing the whistle for a free
Jones,
kick.
just a little bit too high. Geared is normally a really good user by foot. Just knows his way around the footy ground. A much underrated player.
He goes long, deep inside 50. Bailey's there at the back for the Roos, and he sees it out of bounds. Said nice crowd in for a Saturday afternoon. Local footy flying in Tassie. Here's James Webb, another good servant of this Glenorchy team for many years. He gets it back again. It's smothered though by Webberley. He gets the ball in the end and just drops it the last second. And again, another ball up. 3-2-20 to 1-2-8. Gone almost 20 minutes in this first quarter.
And quite a few stoppages in this first quarter. There's another one. So lots of players around the ball up, which means a lot of the time players are under pressure when they receive the footy and have to release by hand.
Ball spills out the back. It's thrown on the boot of a Glenorchy player and goes deep into the pocket. Daly's there to receive a free kick. He doesn't on this occasion. Another stoppage. Up it goes. Wall. And out the back, the Roos just trying to find a break. They can't.
Yeah, they've just wrestled back the ascendancy. Certainly the territory game, Glenorchy, they've been able to lock it inside their 50 now for a few minutes. Since that Noah Holmes goal, it's been a pretty good response from the home team.
Big punch forward there for the Pies. Oh, Rainbird, he was on if he got the ball. Didn't. Brady Jones has it. He's run down though by Mitch Rainbird, holding the pill. And now Rainbird will get the shot on goal. And this will be a killer for the Roos if he slots this in the dying moments of the first quarter.
Absolutely, good call, Brandon. A really good run-down chase from Mitch Rainbird. And opportunity now, which would be potentially the dying stages of the first quarter, could get them out to an 18-point lead.
So Mitch Rainbird wanders in. Looks pretty good off the boot. He's happy with it. So are the Pies. And that's a blow for the Roos on the eve of quarter time.
Yeah, well, he's in pretty good form last week, close to 20 possessions. He's a handy player, isn't he? Can win it inside. I reckon he's proved his kicking over the last couple of seasons as well. And he's always been a goal kicker. Good overhead. And Glenorchy, they just got reward for their effort, I thought there, Brent. They were prepared to lock it in, force some stoppages, keep it inside their forward half. And in the end, they got the result. Really good start for them.
Yeah, super positive.
Clarence certainly not playing with the energy that they had, particularly in the latter part of their game last week against North Hobart. So
4-2-26, 1-2-8. Can't be long left in this opening quarter as Jackson throws it on the boot. And good mark taken by the Pies. They move it to the wing and Webberley takes the grab. Waste no time in getting it forward. Chance for them to get one back on the stroke of quarter time. It's a high ball. No one there to mark it. And out of bounds right on the goal line.
The coach coming off for a breather. It's probably been their best.
He's been
Won
busy.
a lot of it off half back. Clarence now. They'd love one before quarter time.
So in it comes. Can the Roos get one back? Here's Joshy Green, so dangerous. Gets it off ball, smothered. So they've missed out an opportunity there.
Yes, that's where he's a great offensive player, Josh Arnold, but he just does a lot of the 1%ers as well. And that was his smother there. The Glenorchy are probably happy to just run down the clock as if now it looks like the free kickers been taken by the wrong player, so the umpires corrected that. Here's Joseph.
And your late inclusion this afternoon, if you're just joining us, Daniel Joseph.
He's been pretty good, young Manson. He took a nice overhead mark and a little bit of play earlier.
Arnold, who's co-captain of this team in 2020, alongside Braden Webb, who we get to see, unfortunately. Love to see him back out there playing for Glenorchy. Got a few stars out, haven't they, the Magpies? Your man Harrison Gunther and Aidan Grace.
Yeah, but what's the situation with them, Brent, and the likelihood of them getting them back?
Oh, I think there was some sort of hope they could return late in the season, but certainly injuries you don't want to rush back from when you've got star players like that, aren't they?
True.
So he's geared now. Arnold coming through. Big kick. Can they get one more here, the Magpies? Joseph couldn't take the mark. Here's Webb. In fact, it was Adam Roberts there. 24 minutes gone, and there is the quarter time siren here at KG5, and a very positive start for the home team, Glenorchy. They're 4-2-26. Clarence 1-2-8. So they'll be very, very happy with that. Paul Kennedy, the coach, especially Cam Brown, after that display in the first quarter.
Well, they built it up internally, obviously, this game. More so the fact that they were belted. A big margin, wasn't it, the last time these two teams played earlier on in the season? But a really good start for Glenorchy, and probably just reward, I would have thought, on balance, Brent, in terms of the amount of ball they had. I thought they certainly were winning the inside 50 and the forward half game, no doubt about that, but also some of their ground level balls were excellent, particularly the goal of Daly. And Clarence, after a steadying goal from Holmes, really, it was a lot of Glenorchy, so a little bit of soul searching to do for the Roos. I thought their coach was one of their better players in that quarter, but I thought they were beaten a little bit around the midfield, so they'll have to structure up. But they didn't get the best start last week against North Hobart, and then they responded. And now the Pies would be pretty pleased with that 18-point lead.
Yeah, no doubt. That's as we keep saying, particularly after that game earlier in the season. So great for their confidence, and no doubt it'll be a happy huddle out there for the Magpies for the next few minutes. We'll take a quick break and come back with some second half action or second quarter action, I should say, for you very soon. Welcome back to KG5. Very impressive first quarter from the home team, Glenorchy. They lead at 4-2-26 to Clarence 1-8. Cam Brown, for those just joining us, what did you make of the first quarter?
Yeah, I thought a really terrific start from the home team. They go in 18-point leaders at quarter time. And Clarence needed a lift for mine in the midfield. Jackson, Davis, Jones all in there at the moment. So probably need to get their hands on the footy, because they probably dominated the inside 50 count in that first quarter. But we know the Roos are been in pretty good form. 2 really good wins the last 2 weeks. So they just need to wrestle a little bit back on their terms here.
Superb conditions for local footy here this afternoon at KG5. Got a breath of wind and beautiful sunshine as Glenorchy start well again here. Ball pushed up the line by Manson, who is the late inclusion this afternoon for the Magpies.
Yeah, he started pretty well. Camerick again involved with the handball back to Manson. Playing across half-back.
Right on the wing here. KG5, far side of the ground. As you said in the pre-game this afternoon, the centre square shifted probably 6 or 7 metres towards that far boundary here if you're looking at the broadcast. Deegan wrapped up, and now Jackson with the footy. Clarence bring it through the centre square. Arnold mistimed it, couldn't quite get there. Green get the footy back. No, instead they choose Wiley. Keegan Wiley pumps it forward. Nields there, can't quite pull it in time. And now Glenorchy out of danger just. So here they are, last line of defence, the Magpies. 4-goal opening term. We've been really happy with that. Paul Kennedy, the coach, at quarter time. Players fly for the footy. It's Banks Smith out the back, and big bump. Still alive here. Got the kick away in the end. Here's Bailey, a veteran. Brady Jones in the helmet, of course, finds the coach.
And they're out. No, he tried to go to Sam Banks, but in the end he went inboard to Wade Wall.
Speaking of veterans, Wade Wall been with this team a long time now, the Clarence Footy Club. He goes to the top of the square, punched away. Neil chases it and sees it over.
Well, you mentioned Neil. He had a slow start to the game last week, but then was one of the players that sparked the Roos with their revival over North Hobart last week. So some upside still for him.
Here's Arnold. He's dragged down with a footy and pinged for holding the ball. So umpire looks like to have called advantage here, and Josh Green has sent it to the line, but it's been touched according to the goal umpire. So a bit happening there in the last 15 seconds. But end result was a point.
The young Darcy Gardner involved there with the advantage.
Camerick was out injured for a few rounds early in the season, but back playing some good footy now. Ball to the boundary line.
Yeah, Clarence were able to flip it around a little bit early when Wiley was involved and get it on the outside, and that's certainly where they played some of their best footy against North Hobart. So that sort of play, Brent, is what they'll be looking for in the second quarter.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Here's Brady Jones again, the former Tasmanian Tigers cricketer, of course. Very good sportsman, and Josh Green just takes the beautiful mark. And
yeah, just used all his experience there, didn't he? Sometimes you see those paid, Brent, but was able to just nudge his opponent underneath the footy. He'd almost back him to kick this one.
Absolutely. Josh Green, great to see him back playing Tasmanian State League footy. Of course, after his AFL career with the Brisbane Lions firstly, then Essendon. Knows how to kick a goal, Josh Green. In he comes, and not this time though, off to the right, minus score.
Yeah, he knows a goal kicker. He's been good enough to be a club leading goal kicker at AFL land. Joseph with a kick out to Camerick again. Clarence are going to have to put some work on into him. He's starting to rack up some big numbers.
The kick wasn't his best, Ben Camerick. was intercepted and smothered by Swinton. Of course, kicked the match winner a couple of weeks ago against Launceston at Windsor Park, and free kick being paid here as well.
He's a bit unlucky, the Clarence player. He was obviously just trying to lock it up and get a stoppage. Swinton after the smother. And Joseph again on that left foot.
Beautiful to watch Daniel Joseph. For Clarence, though, turn the footy over, back inside 50. Here he is again, Joseph, but Josh Green found the footy and also missed the goal. So a couple of points.
I suppose the positive, he's starting to get in some dangerous spots, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And you'd think he'd normally kick those 9 times out of 10.
So Webb takes the mark, off to Arnold. And Camrick again. Finding plenty of the footy, Benny Camrick in this one. Bowden's in there. And now Clarence get away with it though, but the ball's smothered and out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
A bit of a scrappy start, 5.5 minutes in. And no goal scored in this second quarter.
4-2-26, 1-5-11. Tick over 5.5 minutes gone. Ball back in. Camrick. He does well to get the footy. And is he held up? He is. And pinged for holding the footy. So didn't quite get it out in time.
Yeah, and it's 50 for abuse of the umpire. I could hear it from here.
What do you say, Cam?
I'm not sure about that, but you could hear the frustration in the voice through the microphone here, Brent.
Okay.
I don't know whether it was actually 50. It looks like
doesn't
more
look
about 40-metre penalty, but anyway. Now, who's got it? Is it Ollie Davis, Brent? With the ball, perhaps?
I think it is, Cam.
And he's got another 50.
Another one as well, so you just need to keep your head, don't you?
Well, you do, because that's just awfully frustrating for the Glenorchy coaching staff, because Glenorchy have had it on their terms, and it's just a gimme goal for Ollie Davis. Doesn't kick many, and that's not a slight on him, but we know he's a tough inside midfielder, and he's probably more cast in distributing it out and assisting, but on that occasion, won a free kick and a double 50-metre penalty. And when the Roos haven't played anywhere near their best footy, they're up by 9 points. They'd be pleased because Josh Green's had a couple of opportunities. Now with the goal to Davis, they're just starting to get their hands on the footy.
You'd be really disappointed with that if you, as you say, Randy, the coaching staff, a nice lead and then two, not one, but two 50-metre penalties. So Clarence back in this now, only a 9-point buffer as we restart in the middle. Rainbird, handball's off, Camrick just overran it. Davis again, and now Webley. Had a busy first quarter, the coach. He goes inside 50 just. Ball spills out the back, Neild's in there, wrapped up by Arnold. And a ball up again.
Yeah, so young Davis again involved. What he does is get his hands free.
Here's Rainbird, escapes from the pack and just boots it long. Comes towards us here in the commentary position. Roberts. He got the handball away in the end, did he? He did.
Yeah, look, I think he played it pretty well. It was a great defensive effort from Holmes, but he was tackled, so just handballed it out into space.
So ball up. Wall. Taps it down. And now Davis again, who's been busy in this second term. Cries for holding the ball and paid.
Yeah, they've definitely responded. Ethan Jackson, I thought he's pretty quiet in the first quarter, but he always plays with terrific intensity and effort. Now he's got Wiley, who's running for him.
Yeah, he's been really good. Tegan Wiley this season as well, of course. And pumps it right up the line. Ball spills out the back. Umpire's blown the whistle.
Could be play on advantage. It's going to be a goal to Neald.
Chris Neald comes in, kicks the easiest of goals off the back of an advantage. And Clarence They've stemmed this gap really, really well. The lead now is just 3 points.
Yeah, it was a free kick to Noah Holmes, wasn't it, for in the back? And he worked hard to try and provide a contest. And a nudge in the back, fell over the back to Neil, who we've seen a regular goal kicker over the last couple of seasons at TSL level, Brent.
Handy recruit, isn't he, coming in halfway through the season? Spoke to him a few weeks ago and wasn't sure if he'd play this year, but ended up pulling on the boots, which is pretty handy play to get, isn't it?
Yep, he knows his way around the forward line. Kicked a couple last week, maybe could have kicked a few more as well. And all of a sudden, the game's tightened up. 3-point ball game.
Has indeed. 3 points in it, as you say, Cam Brown. And after a very promising first quarter, things not going the way of the Magpies right now. Clarence have turned the game on its head the last 4 or 5 minutes. Geared handles it forward to the man that's owned this ground for so long, Jay Bowden. He puts it inside 50, mark not taken. And Bailey will get it out the back door. Gets the kick away in the end. Bouncing footy. Rainbird tries to spot a teammate. Big punch from behind from Bailey. Rainbird gets it back though, and now Daly takes a nice mark.
Oh, look out.
And there's one right out the back.
Yep.
Goes and finds Banks Smith.
Yeah, those two Glenorchy players that have pushed forward to the footy on the fat side of the ground, and Daly's teammates were screaming at him to move it forward, and Banksmith, who can find space inside forward 50, predominantly been playing for the on the wing today, and that's a spot he's made his own in the last couple of years for Glenorchy.
Good to see him back in the team after some suspension earlier in the year. And he's missed that one off to the right.
Yeah, it's probably one part of his game, Brent. Kicking, that there's still some upside for him in that area.
Big long kick in, hits the centre. Huge kick in from fullback. And now Clarence are on here. Got players everywhere, numbers everywhere. Might have done a little too much there. Now Arnold, he's caught with the footy.
Well, Clarence had kneeled out the back, and young Darcy Gardner was streaming forward, but just didn't have any time and space. Shut down then by the Glenorchy defence.
Up it goes. Kick around the body. Clarence running through Holmes, and now kick on the boot of the Roos is good.
Yeah, it's Howlett on the left foot.
Another one for the red and white. Takes them into the lead, 4-5-29 to 4-3-27.
Yeah, well, it's been a perfect response from the Roos, hasn't it? It's been all them in this second quarter. And Howlett, who kicked 2 goals last week from memory against North Hobart, gets on the score sheet again to put his team in front. Not sure about the breeze, but it doesn't look to be a breeze from our vantage point. But having said that, what if we had 7 of 8 goals scored to the left of screen?
Yeah, windsock would be handy, wouldn't it? See where the wind's going. The trees behind the goals at the left of screen appear to be blowing a little bit, but certainly nothing like it was when I was out here the other day. On Thursday, I think it was, for a press conference, Brownie. It was a howling gale. So Jones gets it out. Players fall over the footy, and free kick being played
free kick
here.
Again to Ollie Davis, who's just starting to work his way into the game nicely now. At Clarence midfield. One point I thought he was going to give it off by hand.
Davis tries to find a teammate in the forward 50 and does. A beautiful overhead mark from the great man himself, who kicked the goal in the first quarter, Noah Holmes. He'll go back and have a shot now on a probably 45-degree angle and kick from about 30 metres out.
Free kick again to Davis, and that's what he does. He's such an inside beast, so he's always a chance to win some free kicks. But some nice work from Noah Holmes before he took the mark. Just did a little bit of body work, pushed off his opponent, and then presented up. Gets an opportunity now for his second.
Noah Holmes leaves the boot, and it is pushed to the right for a point.
He's a good size, isn't he? We mentioned last week his father, Darren Holmes, played in the old statewide league days for New Norfolk and Glenorchy. He was a tough defender, Brent.
So Camrick has it for Glenorchy. Almost gone 15 minutes in this second quarter. It's been all Clarence so far. They lead it by 3 points.
Yeah, Jay Bowden's been moved into the midfield the last 5 or 6 minutes for Glenorchy. They probably just need his composure and surety with the footy at the moment, the Pies. It's Clarence are pressing hard here now.
They are indeed. Crucial point of the game, isn't it? 4-6-30, 4-3-27. Won't be a long quarter probably. We wait the ball to be thrown in. Somehow it got right up the back of the bank there. So Clarence have it right on the wing here at KG5. Mark not taken. Ball still alive? No, it's not. So, and we'll have another boundary throw in.
Riley was Harper, but again a good defensive spoil. Yeah, right about the quarters, Brent. It does sneak up on your 15-minute mark.
In it comes. Ball in front, won it. Ball out to Jones, who throws it on the boot. Bowden just punches it away. And then we'll have another throw in Clarence's forward half of the ground. Just reminder, a couple of other games to complete round 8. So we've got Lauderdale hosting North Hobart this afternoon at the tip down at Lauderdale, and Launceston and the Tigers tomorrow afternoon at Windsor Park. Lonnie off the back of 2 losses after a very promising start to the season. They'll be keen to win that one tomorrow, as will the Tigers after a loss last week against Lauderdale. Free kick being paid here.
Josh Green's a bit proppy on, looks like his left ankle maybe.
Good spot, Cam, he is too. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. Ball inside 50 for the Roos again, but Glenorchy have it. Jay Bowden sells some candy to his good mate Brady Jones and pumps it up to the wing. Mark taken by the Bush, Zach Bushnut. He dodges around if he would have tried to, but a good tackle by Roberts, I think it was, and he'll get the free kick here.
The intent to play on was okay, but unfortunately he just ran into a brick wall there from Glenorchy.
Roberts' kick couldn't quite hit the chest of Webb. Handball's back. Camrick. Ball goes inside the centre square. Mark not taken by Jackson, but he gets the footy anyway and delivers it inside 50, but it's all black and white, and Jay Bowden, so reliable, takes the mark on the chest. He hits up Banks Smith. Banks Smith finds a teammate, Richard Dilger. And now Banks Smith again. Daly. Colin Daly is a 15-metre penalty here, Brownie, I think. So
I didn't see what it was for.
I didn't either. Anyway, Colin Daly will have the shot.
It actually came about from Ethan Jackson's inside 50, who probably just needed to lower the eyes because Glenorchy had some numbers back and they rebounded from that turnover. And Banksmith didn't panic, did he? He lowered his eyes when he couldn't find an option and saw Daly, and you back the little man to kick this.
Well, this to put Glenorchy back in front. It's been all the Roos this quarter, but Callan Daly puts it through the middle to give his team a 3-point lead.
And it probably did hold up a little bit, that kick in the into the breeze, so maybe it has picked up. But first goal of the second quarter of the Pies coming at the 18-minute mark, and as we mentioned, just came from a turnover in the back half. Well, not so much a turnover, it was just an inside 50 kick from Jackson. Glenorchy had the numbers back. They worked it up slowly and methodically. Banksmith involved. And Glenorchy have just looked a little bit better with Bowden around the ball, haven't they, just in the last 5 or 10 minutes. He's just giving them a bit of composure. Steadying influence. Centre-bounce clearance important here.
Absolutely, won't be too long left in this second term. There's a big tackle there too. Umpire let it go and said play on, and now pinged. So Glenorchy will get the kick here through Geared. Momentum's just shifted, hasn't it, the last few minutes? Geared goes short, finds Conway. Gets it back to Geared, and his kick just goes high in the air. Mark taken, though.
It's a good mark.
Jay Bowden.
Now Camerick's push forward. Now it'll be interesting because into this breeze, he might be too far out. He has been known to do a balk in this situation. He plays on.
Right on the paint of 50, Jay Bowden. You just see the wind, though, and the breeze just picked that ball up and pretty much stop it in its tracks.
It's definitely picked up, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Makes that goal from Daly pretty important from Glenorchy just to wrestle back a little bit of ascendancy, albeit on the scoreboard by 3 points.
And the umpire's blowing the whistle
kick
here, yes. Let's go to Mitch Rainbird by the look of things.
It was out of the ruck contest again. Mitch Rainbird has an opportunity for his second.
Well, in a quarter that's been dominated by Clarence, Glenorchy has another chance here to extend the lead to 9 points after the Roos got themselves back in front. And on the stroke of half-time, Mitch Rainbird comes in. Kick looks okay off the boot. Umpire does not move. And Glenorchy, 9-point advantage now on the stroke of half-time.
Well, depending on which side of the fence you're on, but from Clarence, they'd be a little bit disappointed. They just took their foot off the accelerator, and Glenorchy have made them pay with a couple of goals. And from there, wrestled back a 9-point margin. But Glenorchy, just what they needed, because it was very much on Clarence's terms, the game in the first 15 minutes of this second quarter.
No, absolutely. They've worked themselves back into this quite well. 9 scoring shots to 10. Here's Bowden again, sells some candy there and sold a little too much. He's been pinged for holding the footy, and Davis goes straight back inside 50. Big overhead strong mark to Clarence and Sam Green, and he'll go back directly in front, 30 metres out.
Yeah, terrific defensive tackle from the Roos. It was an important centre clearance for them. Jay Bowden was brought down in a tackle. Ollie Davis took the resultant free kick, the advantage, and it was a nice hit-up lead for Sam Green. Important kick for his confidence.
Sam Green wanders in, and the kick is okay. The lead's cut back to 3, and a handy one for Clarence as we approach half-time.
It's been a pretty good quarter of footy, hasn't it, Brent? 11 goals now scored for the match, and just came about, didn't it? Jay Bowden was probably just trying to do a little bit too much on that occasion. What they are, if you look inside there, those Clarence midfielders, Jones, Jackson, Davis, they're all great tacklers, particularly in those inside contested situations, and they're able to lock up the Glenorchy champ. The Clarence look pretty dangerous this quarter when they have been able to get it inside their forward 50. Here's Jackson again.
Yeah, can they get another one before half-time? It's called a throw there, and Bowden will get the kick.
Glenorchy is small across half forward, so that's probably why he didn't.
Here's Banks Smith. They're in a hurry here, the Pies. Want to get it moving quickly. Gear couldn't get it. And now a chance to go inside again, and mark taken by Roberts.
Yeah, they worked it well, because they're not overly tall across half forward, so lowering their eyes is the better option.
Top of the square went Roberts, and a kick off the boot. It is a beauty. And Glenorchy get the quick reply right on half-time.
Well, that's what he does, doesn't he? Just gets in a predictable spot for a small forward, Daly, and smart across the body, kicks a goal.
It's his third too.
Third, I think he's been terrific. And Clarence will have to tighten up on him. I think I called it early on that Proprotny was the man who's got the job on him at the moment. He'll have to tighten up. He doesn't need too much time and space to hurt you. Terrific finish. And Glenorchy just get that margin out to 9 points again. 23-minute mark, so you wouldn't think there'd be a real lot of time left in this quarter.
Bounce down again. Jay Bowden puts it forward to Webb. James Webb. He goes long. At the back, Daly again, not this time, Rainbird, but Daly does get it back, in fact. Handballs it forward. Only as far as Dilger, who's wrapped up. Now Webb, a little ground grubber. Don't tell me he's kicked that one too. This is Callum Thompson, in fact. Brandy, I've called that wrong.
Yeah,
Good
well
goal.
done to the young man. And Glenorchy, Jay Bowden involved again. That's been a good move from the coach, because Glenorchy, Clarence, the first 10 or so minutes of this quarter, and certainly are on top in the midfield and all the key measurements, but he's just steadied them with some real maturity. Been able to get his hands on the footy, just controlled a little bit of the tempo, I think, for them.
Yeah,
and for all the hard work of Clarence, it's back out to a 15-point lead. What was it, a quarter time? 18 points maybe, Brett, from memory. So on balance, they would probably feel it's not a great reward for their effort.
It's been a quarter of two.
Glenorchy have been pretty clinical when they've gone inside 50, probably the last 4 or 5 times, Brent. They've scored 3 goals out of that, so they've been pretty efficient when they have got it in there.
Yeah, quarter of 2 halves, that's for sure. It was all Clarence in the first part, and Glenorchy have responded really well.
It's won a bit of it, Bank Smith. So too's the man that's got the intercept, Mark Wiley.
Yes, absolutely.
It's one of those players, Wiley, metres gained, he'd be high up, because he often, we've seen him play a lot of his junior career as a forward, but he's, particularly in the last 3 or 4 years, looked much more at home in the back half, and he's happy to run and often kicks long.
So a long quarter this one, 25 minutes gone. And we're still playing footy. Wade Wall dribbles it down to the attacking end of the ground for the Roos. And then this one will be out of bounds. 8-3-51, 5-6-36, 15-point margin here at KG5. Round 8 TSL action. Brent Costello and Cam Brown with you this afternoon, Saturday afternoon TSL. And now Bowden's there. So is Josh Green. 2 big names in Tassie footy.
Thought they're going to ping him at one point there with the tackle from Bank Smith.
Up it goes. And good kick in by Jackson, though. The line beat him, so another boundary throw in. And there is the halftime siren. And in a quarter of 2 halves, it is Glenorchy that head into the long break with a 15-point advantage. 8-3-51 to 5-6-36. Cam Brown, who wins from here, do you think?
Well, you'd have to say Glenorchy, just because they've got that handy 15-point margin. But about 5 or 6 minutes ago, it was probably anyone's game, and we thought, what was it, 7 out of the 8 goals maybe scored to the left of screen. Clarence really responded, didn't they, in the first part of that quarter. Started to whittle around the midfield. I thought Davis started to get on top, in particular for them, got his hands on the footy. Holmes led up nicely at one point, and they just looked like they were potentially going to put their foot to the floor and even go in with a lead themselves at half-time. But in the end, it was a really good response from Glenorchy. I thought they were really efficient when they did get it inside the forward 50, in particular Daly, who I think you mentioned, Brent, has kicked 3. So they might have to look at that match-up potentially, particularly if he's to kick another one. I think they may relieve Paprotny of those duties if he does. I thought Banksmith was really good. The move of Bowden into the midfield just seemed to settle Glenorchy a little bit, and they found some time and space. A couple of free kicks in the ruck contest didn't help Clarence, and they probably would have felt, in terms of going in at half-time, they deserved to be closer. 15 points. But unfortunately for them, it's a handy lead for the Pies, potentially kicking to the scoring end. So, but I enjoyed the contest, Brent, and really tightened up, didn't it, in the first 15 minutes, but then the last 5 or 10 minutes, some really clinical efficiency ball use inside forward 50, and the Pies have opened up that margin.
Absolutely. It was described as an 8-point game by Glenorchy coach Paul Kennedy during the week. Big second half of footy coming up. We'll be back with you soon here on the live stream for quarters 3 and 4. Welcome back to KG5. Second half action in round 8 of the TSL coming your way between Glenorchy and Clarence, and it is the home team leading this one by 15 points at the long break, 51-36. Brent Costello here with you this afternoon in commentary alongside Cam Brown. Brownie, what did you make of the first half?
I enjoyed it. It was a good contest, and the game opened up. Plenty of goals scored in the second quarter, and the home team with a 15-point lead. So a pretty big 10 minutes coming up here for the Roos. I think early on last week we saw them on the stream, Brent, and they started the third quarter really well. Young Ollie Davis in particular, I thought, got them going. So they'll be looking to the middle of the ground here with that man there, and also Jackson Jones. Jay Bowden now back in the forward half after that stint in the midfield in the second quarter.
Here we go, third quarter action underway, and it's Camrick straight out of the middle for Glenorchy. He drives it long inside 50, and the mark taken beautifully on the chest of Callan Daly. He already has 3 goals for the game. Has proved a real headache up there for the Roos camp.
Well, he has. I haven't seen whether they've changed that much up, Clarence, but I think they have to now. If they haven't, Paprotny's been on him for the majority of this game, and this could be his 4th. So I think you've got to be making a move there if you're Clarence.
Here he comes, Callan Daly. The kick on its way, and it's off to the right for a point.
He's just so smart, isn't he? Knows when to play in front, knows when to be at the fall of the ball, but it was the Camrick centre-bound's clearance that did the damage there.
Absolutely, he looked brilliant coming out of the middle there, Benny Camrick, and mark taken by the Roos here. Far side of the ground at KG5.
And this is Baker Smith for the Roos. Nice kick.
Good grab there from Wade Wall, who gets it off to Brady Jones quickly. His kick. Umpire's blown the whistle, and free kick going to Clarence, and they've played on really quickly here. Kneeled, no, couldn't take the mark. Hank Smith threw himself at the footy, and now a chance for the Roos, and that one's gone far to the right and out of bounds.
Was that Swinton? Yeah, Baker Smith with the touch in the a nice mark there for Clarence. Gee, he copped a heavy blow last week. Brent thought it was really brave to come back on the ground.
In it comes. Chance for the Roos again. Holmes is there lurking, kicked a goal in the first term. Brady Jones, Rainbird, all the big names in there trying to get the footy out. Eventually comes out, but only as far as the Roos. Handball. But now James Webb's there. Kicks it up right in front of us here in the commentary box. Roberts takes the advantage and plays on. Dilger. Nice mark. Dilger looking for Bowden out the back. Jay Bowden. Easy grab in front of Bushner. He'll go back.
He just sort of set it up in the air, didn't he? And Bowden, who's smaller than Bushner, stature and size, but playing in front and protected the drop zone and took a nice mark. It's almost like they backed their midfielder in now in the third quarter, Glenorchy.
We love watching this man on this oval for such a long time, Jay Bowden. In he comes, and he has missed it off to the left.
That's a bit of a let-off from Bowden and Daly, the last 2 set shots. Now Clarence are out here.
Ethan Jackson just went over his head a little too far. Davis. And his kick isn't great, out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, I think Holmes now is picking up Daly, potentially, Brent.
Daniel Joseph with a big long kick inside 50 for Glenorchy, but it's all Clarence. Wiley dragged down, got the handball out in the end. And ball out of bounce. So a couple of let-offs for Clarence early in this third term.
It's been a pretty good start, the first 3.5 minutes for Glenorchy. They just haven't capitalised with a couple of set shot opportunities.
Rainbird in the ruck there for the Magpies. Harper, now Webberley. And Holmes.
Might be Jackson, I think, Brent.
Ethan Jackson. And he goes up the line right to the wing and punched out of bounce.
just a 1 inside 50 for the Roos this quarter, but they've managed to move it up to the outer centre wing position. No score yet in terms of goals in this third quarter.
So Brady Jones with the pill, puts it on the boot, and again that one heads over the boundary line. So 17-point advantage to Glenorchy, 8-5-53, 5-6-36. Lauderdale has the early advantage over North Hobart down at Skybus Oval. In the other game this afternoon, in round 8 of the TSL. Of course, one game to come tomorrow. Here's Ben Camrick, has a bounce, has a look at what's ahead of him. Pack forms, no mark taken. Daly's there, picked up and along the ground, but overshoots everyone. Here is Roberts, has a look at goal, and Adam Roberts has his second of the game. And Glenorchy well on top here at the moment at KG5.
Yeah, probably reward for effort, and I reckon it's a game high, 23 points now to Glenorchy. Just fast ball movement, wasn't it? He did pretty well, showed a bit of composure and poise there, Roberts, with the goal. Nice courage again from Baker Smith, flying, going back with the flight of the ball. So, need a response, don't they, Clarence? 23-point margin. Been all Glenorchy the first 5 minutes of this third quarter.
Absolutely glorious conditions here at KG5 this afternoon. Beautiful day here in Hobart. Here's Banks Smith, and the umpire paid the free kick here.
Yeah, and fair enough, he's down. It looks like the free kick has been reversed.
It's going to Rainbird.
Still in a bit of bother, Jackson. Now Rainbird with the reversed free kick. Just keeping my eye on Jackson, Brent, and he hit the turf pretty hard. He's tough. Now, is that a report?
I think it is a report, yeah, absolutely. Umpire had the book out there. So Mitch Rainbird has the footy, and he'll look to go into the attacking zone for Glenorchy again.
Might be one of those ones where you just sit it out about... Excuse me, Brent, and sit it out about 25 metres out from goal, which is exactly what he does.
He goes right to the top of the square, Rainbird, and now Dilger's lurking. He puts it on the boot. Has it got enough on it? No, it doesn't. And Webley marked for the last line of defence. So Jeremy Webley, busy first half for the coach of Clarence. Oh, big fly and nice mark from Mitch Rainbird, if you don't mind.
Yeah, he's working into the game nicely.
And goes in, another good grab taken, this time by Matty Joseph, and he'll go back and have a shot now.
They've been pretty efficient, Glenorchy, some of their inside 50 ball use. In particular, I've been impressed with their ability to lower their eyes, not blaze away, but reward the oncoming lead, which is exactly what Rainbird did. So this will be a worry from a Clarence perspective if Glenorchy kick this one and all intents and purposes put it close to a 5-goal margin, but there's no carry on the kick.
No, nothing at all. It falls really short of the goals, and now Jeremy Webley brings it out of defence for Clarence. Mark taken.
It's Sam Banks. He's been pretty quiet today. Lovely
Banks.
long kick.
Yeah, Banks puts it up right to the wing. Ball kept in play nicely from Wall. And now they're away again here, inside 50, Clarence, but it is all black and white. And Sammy Rundle takes the mark. Hits up Dilger. Mark paid.
Yeah, we mentioned Sam Banks. He's one of those players, metres gain can really hurt you. So Clarence would like the ball in his hands in the second half of this contest.
Banks Smith, he goes backwards. And now Conway switches play to the opposite side of the ground here at KG5. Pies paid a free kick there for a hold. Kick taken by Blowfield and Joseph. Great to see him back playing TSL footy. Dan Joseph. Up the wing, no one could take the mark, and now Harper pops it forward, running onto the footy. Luke Swinton, the hero from a couple of weeks ago, just dribbles it along, and now Arnold finds a teammate, Rundle again.
He's been pretty quiet, Sam Rundle.
Yeah, haven't called his name too much today, Brownie. And the Pies try and work it up, but the ball sees over the boundary line again. Sunshine. KG5 bathed in sunshine at the moment. Wind seems to have died off too, Cam, for the moment. There's Rundle again. Really picked up his work rate in this third term. (9-5-59), 5-6-36 is the scorecard at the moment. 23-point advantage to Glenorchy. Rainbird throws himself on the footy.
Free kick.
Yeah, it is a free kick to Rainbird. He pushes it up and hits the chest of Bowden, takes a nice mark.
He's pretty efficient by foot this quarter, Glenorchy.
Rundle, back to Bowden, back to Rundle. And a fly from behind.
Yeah, Baker Smith again, well done.
Mark taken here by Sam Green. He switches play. And now the Roos are out here. Howlett will run onto the footy. Might beat into the boundary. No, he's there in time. Now Swinton couldn't take the mark. Arnold from behind. Umpire said he was interfered with. Swinton will get the free kick. Trying to find the right option, Swinton. Pack forms, nice mark from Wade Wall.
Yeah, they're probably looking for a lift.
Play on there. And they get out with it here, Glenorchy. But only as far as Clarence and Sam Green takes the mark. Centres the footy. Mark not taken, spilled by Harper. And now they're under pressure again. The Roos, Glenorchy get it out. Geared, pumps it long and deep inside 50. Will the bounce sit for Joseph? It does. Goes to Bowden. Jay Bowden, we know how classy he is, Jay Bowden. And he's kicked a goal for the Magpies.
It was well worked, wasn't it? They had the numbers and Webley was outnumbered. It was a smart knock on from the Glenorchy player who just had some awareness and to know that Jay Bowden was lurking, and he doesn't need too many chances, does he? He missed one earlier on. So we're out to 29 points now.
Yeah, it's a game high, I would have thought, Brownie. 10-5-65, 5-6-36 halfway through, probably more than halfway through this third term. Clarence with all the work ahead of them at the moment. So back underway in the middle of the ground. Wall and Glenorchy end up with a footy again though. Webley just throws himself in, gets boot to ball and gets it towards the Roos attacking into the ground, but Joseph's there to collect. Banks Smith, Camrick, all the Glenorchy big names combining. And the mark taken out in front by Sam Banks.
Normally really precise by foot, but goes in short to the coach who moved himself into the midfield now. Banks running on.
Yeah, Banks again. Hits a target. So Clarence need the next one here. That's an understatement. Here's Jackson. Goes long, driving ball. Clarence is attacking into the ground. They've still got the footy here, the Roos. Dodging and diving, and now Davis puts it out in front of Josh Green, who couldn't take the mark. And Arnold gets it out of danger, only as far as Keegan Wiley, though, who takes a nice grab.
Probably looking for a lift from players like Neild, Wall for mine, the Roos.
What can Keegan Wiley do here? His kick's an interesting one. Looks for Josh Green territory. But again, Glenorchy good enough to get it out of defence.
They're just rebounding off half-back too easy from a Clarence perspective. Just reacting a lot quicker. Oh, it's a poor kick in the end.
Just lands inside. And Jace Bailey picks it up, tries to use the fend off. The kick will flirt with the boundary line. It stays in just. It is. It's still alive, but yes, absolutely holding the footy.
Good decision. Daniel Joseph, who has probably gone by about 98% by foot today, Brent. Just, didn't put a moz on him, but he rarely misses a target.
One of the best players in the comp, no doubt about that, Daniel Joseph. Clarence end up with the footy here. Can they get the next goal? Davis finds the opponent short and Riley. Back to Davis. Chucks it on the boot. Pack forms, kneeled, couldn't take the mark. Ends up with the footy though, but loses it at the same time. Camrick, Arnold runs into a brick wall. Webb gets it out now to the wing, and the two number ones go at it, Holmes and Banks Smith. Banks Smith turns his opponent inside out. Flirts with the boundary line. Rainbird, can he keep it in play? He kicks it along, and it's still alive. Only just, though, it rolls out of bounds.
From Clarence's perspective, it is just rebounding far too quickly out of their forward 50. And some of their small forwards in particular really need to get involved, because Glenorchy, their ground ball gets are really high in that back end of the ground. Frustrating from the Clarence midfield, who you can see are trying to run and carry, show some real intent with the ball in hand.
Good work to win it out there from Sam Green, and Howlett takes the mark. Kicked a goal earlier in the game.
There's got a lot of movement for him, so he's going to have to go down the line.
Goes right to the wing, and a big mark taken by Holmes.
Now he's got Davis working for him into space, but now Glenorchy pushed numbers back here, so he'll have to lower his eyes a little bit, and he's kicked it out in the full.
Yeah, not a great kick from Noah Holmes.
Daniel Joseph with the ball in hand. Now, sometimes Glenorchy will look laterally and try and open up the fat side of the ground. How's that? That's just a brilliant kick again from Joseph.
Cal Daly has the footy.
Just opens up the other side of the ground for them. Now, they've got to play loose. Arnold's got it.
Josh Arnold. A little low kick and finds a target though beautifully. Geared. Moves it along and finds Koppelman. And now Camrick, far side of the ground. He's had plenty of it today, Benny Camrick. Out in the front's Rainbird, couldn't take the mark.
It's just happening a little bit too easy if you're a Clarence supporter at the moment. In particular, the uncontested marks for Glenorchy. They've just been patient when they needed to be. Worked their way up again in their forward half.
So ball comes inside 50. Comes back out straight away though. Camrick uses the footy beautifully. And mark not taken, but the dangerous Cal Daly's there lurking. Jay Bowden throws it on the boot. Umpire's blown the whistle.
Well, that's really frustrating, because it's a down the ground free kick, which I think it's Banksmith with the ball in hand, but didn't see what it was, if it was too high. But yeah, Clarence actually had the numbers to potentially nullify that kick, but Ryan Banksmith, who had a shot earlier on today from about this position on the other side of the ground.
Yeah, directly in front, Ryan Banks-Smith. He's missed it to the right.
Yeah, he would have liked both gettable goals for him. He's Paprotny. They probably need. He's quite creative with ball in hand. He's another one who they're probably looking for a lift, but
so taken high there.
High against
was Roberts.
Sam Banks. Roberts, who's played a role today.
He's played well. Adam Roberts, absolutely. He centres the footy. Rainbird, no, and Webley again out of defence. Bouncing ball, and still alive. Didn't quite go over the line and still is. Noah Holmes kicks it along the line.
And this is the problem for Clarence at the moment.
Mark taken in the middle of KG5. Riley Best goes long and deep. Rainbow with a big tackle.
Yeah, it's a good tackle, isn't it?
Have the ball up right in a dangerous spot here for the Roos.
Rainbird's going to do the ruck.
He's indeed. And ball finds itself over the line. Cries for deliberate. With a throw in instead. So we've almost gone 20 minutes here in the third quarter.
I haven't got the stats in front of us, Brent, but I reckon Glenorchy kicked the last 5 goals of the game. I reckon it was probably 5 goals each at one point in that second quarter. And Glenorchy with the last couple at the back end, or last 3, I think, of the second quarter.
Clarence try to work it out of danger with Green. Couldn't find a target, and umpires paid a hold here to Holmes.
They're playing Noah Holmes a bit further up the ground, which is good, rather than him stationed at full forward. He's having a bit of a run further up the ground.
30 points is the exact margin here at the moment. Mark taken by Koppelman.
You have to be in front. This is where they've just been opening him up from that D50 again.
Here's Dilger. Finds some space here out in the wing. And now Banks Smith got held without the footy and we get the free kick. Banks Smith switches play. Looking for Camrick, takes the mark. Sun was in his eyes, still took it. Now Glenorchy try and work it forward for another goal before 3/4 time. Really extend this lead to
That's clever.
A really tough task. Here's James Webb. Has a look at the goals. He knows how to find them. Not this time though. Bailey missed time the mark though. Couldn't pull it in. Mark not taken there as well, but Clarence do well to get it back. Here's Bushner. And there's the 3/4 time siren at KG5. It's an even 30-point lead to the home team. 10-6-66 to 5-6-36. Another dominant quarter for Glenorchy Canberra.
Yeah, it was, and they're well on top. They've got it all to do now, the visitors, the Roos, because, what is it, Brent? A margin of 30 points, 5 goals, so they have to double their score, the Roos, to get back into this contest. And I just thought it was rebounding far too easily across half-back. I thought Clarence's midfield, that you could see there was some intent to try and play on, where necessary go through the corridor, but when it did come to ground, unfortunately for them, they just didn't have the small forwards there, and Glenorchy just mopped up, and they were able to be really efficient in the back half and patient. And then when they did get inside their forward 50, I think on a day like today I've been really impressed with their ability to just lower their eyes, not necessarily blaze away, and reward the lead up. And really good quarter from them. 30 points. They've got the game in their keeping, I would have thought, from here, Brent. Clarence with it all to do in the final 30 minutes.
10-6-66 to 5-6-36. Back with the fourth and final quarter very soon here on the live stream. Welcome back to KG5. Final quarter action coming your way in a few moments' time, and it's Glenorchy 10-6-66, 30-point or 5-goal leaders over Clarence 5-6-36. Brent Costello and Cam Brown with you on this Saturday afternoon in beautiful Hobart. Perfect conditions and a lovely day here, Brownie, for what's been an entertaining game of footy.
Yeah, look, they doubled their lead, Glenorchy. 15 points to 30 points after the half-time lead. Clarence actually didn't score, Brent, for the whole quarter. Glenorchy very much on their terms. Probably could have even been a bit further in front. They've got a bit of a different look about them, though, Clarence. They've thrown the magnets around a little bit, which is what they have to do. Harper's gone forward.
Let's see how it goes for them. Camrick dragged down with the footy. Joseph gets it out for the Pies. Wants to go long and does. Couldn't mark it, James Webb, and now Holmes had it out, and now Webberley.
That's it. Good kick.
Hits a target, finds Sam Green, who's been pretty good for Clarence this afternoon. Green hits up Neil. Nice mark out in front. He wastes no time in playing on. He pops it with a high ball. Green underneath it. Does he get it out, Josh Green? Ball spills to the ground and players dive all over it. Now umpire says, I'll have it.
Well, I don't know whether that was a message from the Clarence coaching staff, but Neil just took that, didn't even look, just played on straight away. So the intent is obviously to get it in there quickly.
Chance now for Green. Kicks the goal for Clarence. It's the first of the final term. Just the start they're after.
Yeah, he's an improved player, isn't he, at this level? And we'd often see him on the wing or across half forward, half back over the last couple of seasons, but they've just settled him down a little bit. And a nice finish from him. But Clarence, you think they've just got to be brave. They've got to attack the corridor, high-risk footy. And the perfect start for them, as we mentioned, Brent, long time since they'd scored a goal. They came back into us probably halfway through the second quarter. They brought up their 5th goal. And then for probably about 40 minutes, Glenorchy have really controlled it. So from a Clarence perspective, this is where you'd want a really nice open centre bounce clearance again.
Big tap down in the ruck from Wall. That's Rundle, though, that gets it out for the Magpies, and off to the superstar, Jay Bowden. Now Clarence winning out the back.
Well done,
coming
Banks.
through is Brady Jones. Not taken by Sam Green, but gets the footy in the end. Pulled off it, Swinton, and now Harper. And they drive it forward again, Clarence. And here's Josh Green out the back. Has he got a party trick for us? He gets it to Neil. He awaits it patiently. Chris Neil turns around, snaps a goal. Clarence are back.
They are, and it came off the back. Some really nice work from Sam Banks in the back half. He was clean, fed it to the runner, and away they went, Darcy. Gardner, the young man involved there too, and Josh Green, although it was a pretty smart kick in the end, not actually convinced he was going for a shot. I just think he was trying to give his teammate Neil the best opportunity and kick the ball into space where he was running. Smart, composed finish in the end, and all of a sudden we've got it back to 3 goals. There's definitely some more energy about Clarence. I like some of their moves too to start this last quarter.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. We're in for a ripping final quarter of footy here. 18-point lead now Glenorchy has. Clarence with the first 2 of the final quarter. Underway again in the middle. Deegan and Wall go at it. Geared. And now Webberley throws it on the boot. Not taken. Kneeled out the back again. Centres the footy. Top of the square. Bouncing ball. Holmes is there. Throws it on the boot, but offline. Minor score.
Wasn't a bad effort. This is where Clarence had loved Josh Green now to bring some energy to this team and get on the scoreboard. He started this quarter a lot deeper next to Noah Holmes. But they're pressing now, the Roos.
So the Pies bring it back in. And the kick's a shocker. It is out on the full, so not what the doctor ordered at all for Glenorchy. as Ethan Jackson looks to send it back inside 50. He does just that, and it's going to go all the way for a point.
Look, he backed himself, obviously, to kick the goal. Maybe the percentage play was just to hit that spot a couple of metres out from the 10-metre goal line.
Here's Bowden. Kicks it back in, long. Has a target too, mark taken by Geared.
He's got Joseph out the back. And
Dilger. Right on the wing. Centres the ball. Finds Rundle.
Starting to work his way into it.
He has, hasn't he? Big time in the second half. Didn't call him too much in the first half. The former Launceston star.
Played pretty well for mine, Ryan Banks-Smith.
He has had a lot of the footy.
Now, Clarence have got numbers back here.
Dilger. His kick is smothered off the boot. And now James Holmes works the boundary line, and it is eventually over.
Well, Clarence have kicked their goals in bursts, haven't they, today, Brent? We saw that in the early part of the second quarter. Kicked 3 or 4 really quickly.
So we wait the throw in on the far side of the ground here. almost 6 minutes gone, final term. The Roos have lifted. They've come out after three-quarter time. And looking pretty good at the moment, but it's still the home team with the lead. Rainbird coming through. Davis is in there for the Clarence. Goes again. All not going too far. Pull up.
Yeah, the work rate is up, Clarence, at the moment. They want to keep it inside their forward half now.
KG5 bathed in sunshine, as we said before. Hardly a breath of wind as Webberley pops it inside. Nields there. Mark not taken. And now Swinton turns around. Has he got someone there? There's a magpie that flew for it. Joseph gets it out the back.
Swinton just needed to handball then. Brent, he had players screaming for it. Elected to kick. And Glenorchy had some numbers back.
So Deegan had the footy. Gets it off to Arnold. Ball heading north, towards the Magpies' goals. Have hardly had it down their end this quarter, but here's a chance now. Banks-Smith. Harper does well, but only goes as far as a Glenorchy player again. Oh, clever tap there from Joseph off to Bowden. Centres the ball. Unfortunately, James Webb slipped over, but it gets the footy back. In fact, it was... Here's Holmes now running out of defence.
He's looked lively this quarter, Neil. He's probably sparked him a little bit. Who was it that just fell over the Glenorchy player at the inopportune time? Might have been Roberts.
I think it was Adam Roberts. And now Glenorchy in defence. Bring it out. Up the line. And now Roberts again, who did slip over a few moments ago. Geared, Arnold, storming through the middle of KG5. What's the option down there for him? Paris defenders do well. Ball heads to boundary, and it's umpire still hasn't blown the whistle.
I've said it a few times, but again, Baker Smith, courage, flying across the pack on that occasion. What you don't want now, from a Clarence perspective, is just to cough one up from the stoppage.
Wade Ball whacks it, but it goes straight back out of bounds. So just over 8 minutes gone, final term. It is a 16-point lead to Glenorchy. Can they hold on here, the Magpies, with a surging Clarence coming at them? Deegan pops it forward and now into the safe hands of Brady Jones. Oh, nice mark from Howlett. Howlett looks for Neild, and good punch away there.
A slow kick in the air from Howlett on that occasion, so it allowed the Glenorchy defender to come across and kill the contest.
It was Koppelman, Brownie.
It's been okay. 16 points the margin. 9 minutes in the final quarter.
Here comes the ball. Walls there, so is Rainbird. And now Deegan. It's a high ball and good mark taken again by Keegan Wiley.
You can see the intent from Clarence to play on at all costs now. Try and open it up.
Harper just managed to escape the holding the ball. And now they're away here, the Roos. Chance to go forward once more. Riley gets it off to Banks. Now Webley sells some candy, throws it on the boot, tries to centre it to Neil, no good, and Joseph cuts it off for the Magpies.
It was a good run. Sam Banks involved a couple of times in that last bit of play.
Camrick finds Dilger. Dilger, dangerous kick, but the kick was okay in the end and finds Arnold.
Yeah, Glenorchy might just be patient here, take a little bit off the tempo for a few minutes.
So Camrick had plenty of it this afternoon. Superstar of the comp. And nice mark from Rundle, who, as we said, has worked his way into the game beautifully. His Webb couldn't control the footy. And there's a hold there. The umpires called it and going the way of Glenorchy. Fair call.
Yeah, he just held on in the tackle on that occasion.
Thompson, who kicked the goal early, gets it off the gear. It's a high ball. Lands on the chest of Banks Smith.
Now he's got Daly. If he wants him, he's going to go short, though. Great kick.
Great kick to the man we love to watch, Jay Biden. He'll go back and have a shot from a 45-degree angle, about 35 metres out.
It won't be an easy kick.
Just ease the pressure on Glenorchy a little bit if he can slot this one. Extend it back out to 22.
They've used him just where they needed him, potentially on where the game's being played. We saw him start deep forward in the game, then went into the midfield.
Jay Bowden's a wobbly kick and doesn't have enough on it, and it goes through for a behind.
Hasn't been his best kicking for goal day today, Jay. Still been a very good player.
So the ball back in. Wall couldn't hold on to the mark. He needed to. It was a crucial one, wasn't it? Because here come Glenorchy again.
Well, Banks Smith. I don't want to be hard on way ball, but they were out, and it was an uncontested mark. It's a really good kick.
Jay Bowden, a high ball again. Pack forms. It's all Clarence, though. Big mark from Jace Bailey. Gets it off really quickly. And the Roos are away again. Only as far as a couple of Glenorchy players, though. And they punch it forward again to Banks Smith, who's had plenty of it today, Cam Brown, the young gun. Joseph works his way out of some traffic. Banks Smith again. Pack forms. No one could take the mark. Here's Jay Bowden, though. Disposes of his opponent. Kick inside. Jones. Handballs out to Bailey, who's dragged down. And now Glenorchy has a shot. Falls way too short, though, but out the back. Here they go. A goal to Ben Camrick. And that gives them some breathing space on the scoreboard. The lead back out to 23.
Yeah, well called, Brent. Breathing space. No doubt. 23 points in Clarence, probably for the first 10 or 12 minutes, almost some of their best period of the game. You can see the instructions clearly being to play on at all costs, instinctively. Move the ball, give our forwards a chance, get it in there quickly. But unfortunately for them, they're just outnumbered. And Camrick, who's racked up some big numbers again today, and we know he can push forward and kick goals. Banks Smith, you mentioned, was involved early on in the play, Brent. I think he's been a really good player today for the Pies, starting to make that wing his own. And just what the Roos didn't want, so they'll need to respond pretty quickly with a goal.
Well, nearly 14 minutes gone too, Brownie. Those shortened quarters we speak about. Wouldn't be too long left in this game as Geared pumps it forward, only as far as Brady Jones. Now Davis sends it to the wing, and mark taken by Hanslow. Wiley now, and a good mark taken by Joseph.
They've been pretty solid too. As the kick, his efficiency today by foot.
Deegan had some time and gets it to Camrick, the last goal kicker. Bowden was cut off there by Bushner, but now coming through is the young gun Ryan Banks-Smith. Has a look at goal and missed.
Yeah, well, he could have had a really good day. I reckon there's 3 very gettable goals. Now, the problem with Bushner, he showed great intent, but he needed to keep the ball in front of him with that defensive spoil.
Put themselves under enormous pressure there as they bought it out. Clarence. Probably time's beaten them now to win this game.
Yeah, you can see he wants to go. He's going to go out to us with Harper.
Harper at the back. No good. Here's Webberley. Went for the kick. Sold some more candy. Was clever to Swinton. And now they go inside to Popotny. Kneeled out the back. Takes a nice mark back with the flight.
That was good ball movement. Now Neil's a left footer. So not necessarily the easiest kick for him, but Webberley involved again. Popotny, nice, just kicked it into space. And Neil, who's had a pretty good quarter for them. Not wasting any time here.
Chris Neal, been doing some renovations at my house recently, Brownie.
Has he? You've
Done
got a discount, no doubt.
Done a good job with that, and hasn't done a great job with that kick, unfortunately, off to the right. Minor score. So time's beaten Clarence here now, 11:8.74 to 7:9.51. Almost 16 minutes gone, final term. Here's Deegan. Handball's over the top. Dilgat. He finding a teammate he can't, and James Holmes cuts it off.
Probably hasn't as much as the ball as they would have liked. Clarence Holmes, we know how damaged you can be as that running defender.
Here's Josh Green. And Neil flies again. But the Pies get it out through Cooper Meredith. Geared. And Banks-Smith. So the sting out of this game now. Glenorchy is going to collect a win, and an important one too, as far as the ladder goes. We see a free kick paid here, an advantage as well. Clarence pop it forward. We know how tight the ladder is going to be come finals time. So a very good win for the Magpies this afternoon, and Kneeled out the back again. Can he turn his opponent inside out? He does. He throws it on the boot, and it's just across the face for a minor score. As Paul Kennedy said, 8-point game this one, Brownie. Is just how tight the ladder is at the moment.
So you get 8 for winning today.
No,
is that true? Right.
Just an old saying.
I know, Brent.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, but he's right because of the ladder positions, and obviously they can get the 4 points, but also just put a little bit on their opponents in Clarence, and they'll get the win today.
Whoa, big fly at the back there from Green. Deegan's there and kicks it along the boundary line.
I think from a Glenorchy perspective, and Paul Kennedy, the last 10 minutes when they've been really good, Glenorchy, and they've just been pretty composed. When Clarence looked like they were really pressing, and they've just been able to steady the ship here.
Not too long to go in this one. Round 8 clash between the traditional rivals. And I'll tell you what, it's been a good response too, Brownie, from the last time these two teams played, because Glenorchy were absolutely towed up by Clarence down at Richmond, and they've responded beautifully this afternoon here on their home deck.
Yeah, they've had some good players today. Right from the word go, they were on top. A period in the second quarter where Clarence had it on their terms.
Free kick here to Glenorchy. So Deegan will get that.
He's improving all the time too, Brent Deegan.
Yeah, I've enjoyed his work today. Here's Matty Joseph.
They're not super tall, are they, Glenorchy, in that forward half? So they do rely on that ball movement by foot. Joseph's
kick isn't his best, but it's still alive here for Glenorchy. Bowden has a look at the goals. Here's a magician, Jay Bowden.
Yeah. We haven't got the stats, Brent, but he still would have had, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 shots on goal. That was the hardest one. But you knew as soon as he laid it across his body that was going in. And for all Clarence's effort in the first 10 or 12 minutes, when they really tried hard to play on, attack the corridor, high-risk footy, unfortunately Glenorchy have steadied the ship for them, and it's back to a 28-point margin. It's been too good today, the home team.
Yeah, they were challenged, weren't they?
To,
had all the answers.
Yeah, and they would have been disappointed last week coming up against a really good team in North Launceston, but particularly in the forward half, they didn't get a lot of goals in that game. But to kick 12 today, that'd be really pleasing for them.
Absolutely. Here's Swinton. Final moments of this match. Here's the man we saw kick that goal a few moments ago. The 3-time league best and fairest, Jay Bowden.
Yeah, he's had a strong game. Bowden, I think Joseph's been terrific off half-back.
Banks Smith, anything good?
Yeah, Banks Smith, excellent. The Daly was really dangerous early, I thought, with his 3 goals. And Roberts has given him something as a different option. He looked dangerous at different times today. And Camerick, we know, and this man on screen, Rundle, he started to rack up some really good numbers. So a pretty good even spread from the Pies today.
A nice mark from Deegan. Spoke about him a few moments ago. Been a big hole left by Cam Duffy this year at Glenorchy, but he's slotted in nicely in that position. Camerick, can they get one more here? The Magpies before the full-time siren. Here's Daly, sells some candy. Number 4, no.
He did that well though, didn't he? And that's probably what Clarence missed in the third quarter for mine, Brent. It was just rebounding far too quickly in their forward half, the Glenorchy defenders.
So, Clarence over the footy. They'll work it forward again. Kneeled out the back, no. Glenorchy, and ball it forward. Webb. Mark taken.
Yeah, from Clarence, Brennan, Webberley's been a really strong player, hasn't he, right throughout the game today. Jackson always tries hard. Nice mark again from Baker Smith, but that's the end of the game, Brent.
It is indeed, and it's a big win to the home team, Glenorchy. 12-9-81 to Clarence, 7-10-52. A fine response from a touch-up earlier in the season. And they've won a very important game this afternoon, Glenorchy, as far as the ladder goes.
Yeah, they have, and important for them after their loss to North Launceston. And Clarence, after a couple of wins on the trot, came up against the team today who were just a little bit more efficient, weren't they, with their ball use, and showed a greater level of maturity, I thought. And when Clarence were pressing, particularly early on that last quarter, Glenorchy just steadied the ship a little bit and ran out pretty comfortable winners, 29 points for them. But enjoyed the game, Brent. And now for Clarence, we know they're a young team, and they're so too Glenorchy for that matter. But always difficult to come out to KG5. I thought they tried hard, particularly in the last quarter. But in the end, to no avail. And a 29-point win for Glenorchy gets their season back on track, Brent.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic contest this afternoon. Been great bringing it to you. We're back with another live stream next week. Don't forget you can flick over and watch Lauderdale and North Hobart from the tip, and then of course Launceston and the Tigers tomorrow should be a beauty too. Cam, who you got in that one?
Launceston and the Tigers, did you say? Launceston for mine, Brent. Yeah.
A couple of losses on the trot, so no doubt Mitch Thorpe will want his men to bounce back in that one. Great to have your company this afternoon. We'll catch you next week here on the live stream. Have a great weekend.